is the double knee fold, or some people call it the tabletop position, and I'm going to show you how we get into this position. It's actually a starting position for lots of different exercises, but to begin with, it's an exercise in itself. So I'm working with Vivi this morning, and Vivi is starting with her pelvis in neutral. And to begin with, we're going to just do single knee folds, where you're just going to bring one knee above the hip. So the angle behind the knee isn't going to change, and it's all hinging from this hip socket here. So I'm just going to show you what to do to begin with. So you will end up bringing your knee above the hip without altering the angle behind the knee and using the lower abdominal, so this core muscle here. And then you're going to lower the foot to the floor, hinging from the hip socket, so not just dropping the foot and the lower leg. And we're going to do that alternating each leg. Always do it having engaged your core first of all, which is to begin with the lower abdominal and the pelvic floor as well. So the pelvis isn't going to shift. So you breathe in first of all. As you breathe out, you engage your core, and hinging from the hip, you bring the knee above the hip. Good. You stay here while you breathe in, and as you breathe out, you re-engage the core if it's come out, and you hinge from the hip socket to bring the foot back down onto the mat. And notice how the angle behind the knee hasn't changed. She hasn't dropped her foot down onto the floor. So now we'll do the other leg. You take a breath in. As you breathe out, you engage the core first, and then you bring the knee above the hip. You hold that here while you breathe in. Excuse me, just breathe at your own rate, and then breathing out, engaging the core, hinging from the hip socket, bring that foot down onto the mat. Good. Now I'm going to add an extra little element into this exercise. I want you to imagine that under the foot that you're keeping on the mat, you have a chocolate eclair with lots of squidgy cream. And when you bring, say we'll start with the right foot, the right knee above the hip, your eclair is under the left foot, and you're not going to put any weight through that left foot to squidge any cream. Because what happens is you subtly, because the body likes to cheat, put a little bit of weight into your supporting foot, and therefore you don't have to work from the core quite so much. So we've got our imaginary eclair under the left foot. So on your next out breath, so breathe in, as you breathe out, you engage your core. Don't squidge any cream from under the eclair, and bring your knee above the hip. Stay here breathing in, and as you breathe out, engage your core, and as you bring your right foot down on to the mat, you're not going to support and put any weight through your left foot. Good. So now we have the eclair under the right foot. We're going to bring the left knee above the hip, so take a breath in. As you breathe out, don't transfer any weight, just bring the left knee above the left hip. Good. Stay here, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, pull in that core, and as you bring your foot back onto the floor, don't put any weight through your right foot and squidge any cream. Good. Makes it a lot harder, doesn't it? You actually have to work from the core. So we'll do one more on each side. So breathing in first, as you breathe out, really pulling in the core a split second before you move. So you're starting from a stable pelvis. That's it, good. So the pelvis hasn't shifted a touch. And then breathe in again, and then on your next out breath, engaging the core a split second before you move. So you start from a stable pelvis and bring that foot down. Good. And now the eclair is under your right foot, so don't transfer any weight to your right foot, and you bring the left knee above the left hip. As you breathe out, engaging your core, bringing your left foot down, but don't squidge any cream from under the eclair. Good. So that's how to do it correctly. It's very easy after a while to alter the angle behind the knee and just drop the foot. So I'm going to get Vivi to show you how not to do it. So you can come up in the normal way. So engaging your core, don't squidge any cream from under the eclair. Now this time just dropping your foot. Yeah. So first of all, she didn't use the core, but also another way, bring that knee back up again. Sometimes what happens is people drop this foot to get down onto the mat, and what she's done here is she's altered the angle behind the knee, and she hasn't needed to use her core at all. So one more in the correct way. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, engage your core, don't move that pelvis, don't put any weight through the other foot, and bring the knee up. And the same going back down. Don't alter the angle behind the knee, always hinging from this hip socket. That's great. So those are single knee folds. And now we'll go on to the double knee fold. So a double knee fold is moving on a progression from the single knee folds. So as soon as you can bring one knee up above the hip without moving the pelvis at all, we can progress to the double knee fold. The double knee fold to begin with we'll do on 2 out breaths. So each leg will come up on a different out breath, and then we'll progress to doing it on 1 full out breath. So take a breath in, Vivi. As you breathe out, engage your core and bring one knee above the hip. Good. Stay here, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, you have to make an extra engagement with the core. It's much stronger, but then bring the second knee up without the pelvis shifting at all. Stay here, take a breath in. As you breathe out, engage the core, and the second leg will go down first. That's it. Again, without dropping the foot, keeping the angle behind the knee. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, engage your core and bring your right foot down without putting any weight through the left and without any change in the pelvis. Good. And we'll always alternate which leg we start with, okay? So take a breath in. As you breathe out, engage your core and bring your left knee without putting any weight through your right foot. Take a breath in. Now a really strong engagement here. Make sure you don't move the pelvis. Very nice, good. It takes a lot of concentration. It's very easy just to wiggle the pelvis a bit. Take a breath in. When you're ready, breathe out. The second leg will go down first. That's it. Good. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, engage the core and then bring the left leg down without putting any weight through the right foot. Good. And you'll see how the pelvis didn't shift at all. That's very nice. Okay. So we're going to do 2 more. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, engage your core. Bring the right foot above the knee. Good. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, really a lot of engagement here. That's very nice. No changing in the pelvis. When you're ready, don't hurry the breath, otherwise you start to get dizzy. Breathing out, engaging this core. Lovely, strong core here. Now bring the second leg down first. On your next out breath, engaging the core. Lovely. Good. And now one more, starting with the left leg. Good. Breath in. Lots of engagement. Don't hurry it. Don't move that pelvis. Very nice indeed. That's it. The second leg will come down first. Good. Lovely. So by alternating the leg that you lead with and the leg that you come down, there's always one side that's being challenged. So for example, if we start with the right leg, take a breath in. As you breathe out, engage your core, bring the right foot, right knee up. Good. So that's now going to stay here and be challenged while the left knee comes up and then goes back down again. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, engaging the core, bring the left knee up. Good. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, engaging the core, the left knee goes down. So the right leg is being challenged while the left leg comes up and down. And then you bring the right knee down. And now we'll challenge the left side. So start with the left. Engage. Start with the left.
Oh,
Slow hands, all right? That's it, good. So now the left leg is going to be challenged while the right leg comes up on an out breath, engaging the core in your own time, don't rush. Engage the core and the right knee comes down. So the right leg is being challenged while the left knee is being challenged while the right leg comes up and down, and now you can bring the left knee down. Good. And that way you end up working the core, because this is a fantastic exercise for strengthening up one of the key core muscles, the transverse abdominal muscle, the one that runs right across our lower abdominal between the pubic bone and the tummy button. So to begin with, until you've got a good strong core, this is actually an exercise in itself. because until you can come into a double knee fold without any worries, it's very difficult to actually progress into stronger exercises because your core won't be strong enough. So now we're going to do it on one breath. So at the first half of the out breath, you're going to bring one knee up, and on the same out breath but the second half, you're going to bring the second. Until you get really advanced, you never bring both knees up at the same time or lower both knees down, because it's really hard not to move the pelvis at all. So it's always do one and then the other. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, engage your core. On the first half, bring the right knee up, and on the second half of the same out breath, bring the left knee up. Good. Stay here as you breathe in. As you breathe out, engage your core. On the first half of the out breath, you bring your left knee down, and on the second half, all the way down, on the second half of the same out breath, you bring the second leg down. Good. Now we'll start with the left. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, engage your core. That's it. On the first half of the out breath, you bring your left knee up. On the same out breath, you bring the right knee up. Nice full in breath. As you breathe out, engage the core. Split second before you move. First half, you bring the right foot down, and the second half of the same out breath, you bring the left. Good. So these are all progressions. So start with doing your single knee folds, which you've done already, and then the double knee folds on 2 breaths. And when you are strong enough and you can do it a little bit more quickly, then you can do it on the same breath. But don't hurry it. The only reason you don't do it on one breath to begin with is because you're taking a lot more time and you're going to run out of breath. So that is the double knee fold, and it's a very good exercise for strengthening the core, but also a starting position for lots of different exercises.